Right. Call to order at 5 o'clock. First up is public input. Is there anybody that would like to speak?
We didn't receive any public
Emails.
input either, so.
Okay, great. Administrative matters, approval of park board minutes. Everybody get a look at it.
Motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Everybody look at the vouchers. Any questions? Comments?
Don't have any. I'll make a motion to approve all three of the vouchers.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Items for discussion is the election of park board officers.
Okay. As is customary, on the park board, we typically rotate, and I believe Dan, you're the vice, are you the vice?
Yeah, I get a promotion this year.
I would nominate Mr. Dan Repay for president and Mr. Scott Pierce as vice president. And I would also nominate Janice as our recording secretary. Correct.
Can I second that? Is that right? Second myself.
I'll second
I
it.
felt embarrassed.
I should second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Oh,
Well, you
I
need
get
to
this?
take over.
How slow this is gonna last. All right, item B, Parks and Recreation annual report. It looks as though we have that in front of us.
Yeah, I gave you a written copy just to make it a little bit easier to look at. I'll run through and review it. Feel free if you want me to speed things up or slow them down as we go through it, but we like to put this together kind of just as a picture, as a year in review, slash annual report. Not, it's not driven on the financial side as much, so that's why I kind of like to refer to it more as a year in review, so. 2023, we welcome two of our existing park board members who were up here, Scott and Kristen. So that was something new last year. Our full-time staff remains same for the department. Christina Edwards was promoted to a maintainer 3 vacancy. She also achieved her certified pool operator certification last year. The department had 130, actually, and her position she moved from is still vacant. So we're hoping that this will be one of our goals for this year to fill that existing vacant maintainer 2 position. The department had 138 part-time employees in 2023. Those were mainly lifeguards, park maintenance, recreation program leaders, referees, instructors, things along those lines. Despite some bad luck in the department, on the maintenance side, the full-time staff was really able to keep up with maintenance-related issues as needed. The crew did a great job of stepping up to maintain the park system without much notice from the public about the reduced staff level. Between on-the-job injuries, funeral leave, FMLA leave, and other earned benefit time off, we were down about 20% of the maintenance staff for the whole year. So they did a great job, because I don't think most people realize that that was the case. As far as on page 3, I go to our board accomplishments, and I'm obviously doing this as a substitute as our board report for this month, and just kind of highlighting these things. So feel free to interrupt if there's anything you want me to highlight. We engaged with CSK Architects for the architectural and engineering services out at Centennial Park for the new pro shop. We expanded the pool concession patio this past year. We approved the rebuilding of the community park recreation storage garage, which was commonly known as the old warming shelter at Community Park. We approved an initial agreement for a development concept for Community Estates Park. We awarded construction of the golf course buildings to Hanson Construction Company. Approved a warranty deed transfer of parkland along Manor Avenue for future train parking. That also included a perpetual easement agreement with Nicky for that park property that was along Manor there across from where the new train station will be located. We engaged HWC Engineering to complete the Parks and Recreation 5-year master plan. Recommended to the town council to change the operational hours of Centennial Park to 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. daily. And then on the financial side of it, the brief side of it where I can talk about the finances in this report. Our budget last year was 2.67 million and change. We had our expenses were 2.694, so we spent 99.87% of our budget last year. So we were there. That doesn't include our revenues. We did bring in a lot more in taxes, so I mean, but it is pretty nice to see that we're kind of almost really self-sufficient. I mean, we don't want to be non-reliant upon property taxes, but we're doing pretty good that way, so. Our 2370 fund used to be called the 770 fund. That's a non-reverting fund, separate from those above figures I just mentioned. This is more of donations, sponsorships, collection fund for us as a fund. We had $354,000 in revenue this year, and we expended $165,000 and change out of that fund. So you can see we're doing really good there. These are, and then on the parking fund, which was the numbers that are shown here, we really didn't know, and the clerk treasurer's office threw together a budget of $90,000 last year. We expended almost $60,000 towards everything to do with that undertaking. And our revenue, that numbers actually includes some of the revenue from the partial season of 2022. So, but you can see for the few months in 2022 that we were open and all of 2023, it brought in just over $217,000 there. All right, on to page 4, our parks and facilities. The cricket pitch ribbon cutting was held out in April. We had 2 new tot swings added to Frank Hammond Park. We striped pickleball lines on a number of existing tennis courts at Beach Grove and Westlake Parks. We added a new park sign out at Westlake Park that we previously did not have one at. A historical railroad marker along the Pennsy Greenway was reinstalled and kind of made a little bit more prominent for the people walking along the trail to catch it and be aware of it. The 2 trail counters from the NERC grant were installed on the Pennsy, one near the state line and one near the Formal Gardens at Centennial Park. The old, I mentioned the old warming house was replaced at Community Park. Electric upgrades were completed at the social center, including adding a backup generator. We also added new doors to the main entrances on the east and west ends of the building. Bought a bunch of new equipment, 4 Z-Track mowers, a new dump truck, a new fairway mower. We added a fiber optic line to Community Park last year. The construction began on the Golf Pro Shop and Park Storage buildings at Centennial, and we also purchased a new ball machine for the driving range out there. As far as our parks and facilities on the rental side of things, we had 314 total rentals in 2023. The 2 largest, 155 of them, were at the social center, 105 more between all of our shelters across the town, and then a few others as detailed there. Community pool, brief summary here. We had 16,646 visits last year. That was slightly lower than the previous year. We had 838 season pool passes sold in 2023. There were 76 saves or rescues that lifeguards had to perform. We like the way that that's trending. The year before was 104. The year before that was 157. So that's trending in the right direction there. That's always nice to see. The fiber optic line definitely helped in our admissions booth to reduce a lot of our issues that were popping up on us on a usability side of things on a day-to-day basis out there previous to that line being installed. And then our capital improvements out of the pool. We did quite a bit of things there. We expanded the concession patio, replaced a liquid acid tank with a tablet system. We gel coated the slides. We updated the sound system, replaced loose tiles in the pool floor, replaced a gas line to the pump house, added a fiber optics line, and install the heat and air conditioning unit in the admissions building. Financially at the pool, revenues did exceed expenses to the tune of $4,500, almost $4,600. So that was also a good thing from a year in review to look at. The parking, as we mentioned earlier, I kind of briefly told on that, but our total fees that we brought in from last year was at $162,000. That was strictly for 2023. So it gives you a little bit of a idea of what we're bringing in there on an annual basis for the full, since 2023 was the first full season we were actually in operations with enforcement. On the golf side of things, the golf staff will be here next month to give a full presentation as they normally do at the February Park Board meeting, but the initial numbers that they've shared with us are for golf rounds. They were at 15,769, which is a 14% increase. Green fees were down, so that means that a lot of their golf rounds were members, so they weren't paying rounds. They was like the ones that are paying more so than the members playing just a lot of things. The park fees were down, of course, of that we coincided those green fees memberships there. And the range revenue was down about 10%. That was kind of expected with construction happening. And then the Pro Shop revenue actually was up 16%, so a couple $1,000. So that was nice to see that picked up. On the recreation side of things, our programming, our youth soccer league, again, a huge success for us, 965 players, which was an 11% increase over the year before. Summer camp had 100 campers per week. That was 15 more per week than the year previous. Within 3 days of making it public, we filled 90% of our spots in summer camp last year. So that fills up real fast. Our tennis lessons increased by 10% last year, participation rates. The teenager membership rates increased 22%. Our teenager holiday party guests increased by 18. Our dog park memberships increased to 265 last year. So that's all nice things to see there on the recreation side. On our special events side of the recreation division, our daddy-daughter date night sold out before the early bird deadline even passed last year, and with 177 individuals coming to the event, fathers and daughters. And then we added a home improvement fair with 15 businesses that participated in a first-time event for us last year that will continue this year again. Our Cash for Clutter always seems to be popular. The enrollment there increased by 21% from the booth event spaces. The car show last year was the 25th anniversary of that event. We had 142 cars and 20 vendors and 11 sponsors. People's Bank again sponsored the summer concert series here at Munster Town Hall with about 2,500 people in attendance at the 5 total concerts. The Munster Civic Foundation donated $34,000 to continue the Civic Mondays last year with 13 on-stage concerts, including the symphony. Kids Fest was by far our highest attended outdoor event in 2023 with over 2,000 attendance, and that's really spectacular considering that we actually postponed it because of weather from June to a July date. So that was really neat to see that the turnout was still there despite having to push it back due to the weather. Beaker Woods Night Walk, again, another really good success with over 1,000 there. And our Holiday Arts and Crafts Show always does great. Another 123 vendors, which is a 5% increase over the year before. On to our last page, our social media and marketing. We send out our recreational activities and share things from the news, which was mailed out in the utility bill. In more recent years, we've done a lot more aggressive on social media with digital advertising and direct emailing. So that Facebook is something that we use quite a bit. We are over 10,000 followers. Instagram is newer to us. We're almost at 2,000 followers there. Our registration software system, which is is through our Active Network software, we are up to 8,891 contacts that we have emails for. So we send out routinely to them. Hopefully some of you are on that list and you get the almost daily email that sends out from some of those participants. And then we use the Smart 911 Rave text message system, which has over 3,800 subscribers. We typically only use that for event notices, but again, a nice way to help spread the word because word of mouth is really one of our best ways to advertise. As far as the marketing aspect, in 2023, we brought in just over $63,000 for various programs and event sponsors, the largest being the Civic Foundation. The advertising opportunities brought in an additional $33,000 and change. We have a lot of sponsors give in-kind donations every year, including we always like to highlight Bowman because they have committed every year to giving us complimentary banners that we use for just about every special event that you see across town. So we thank them for that sponsorship. And then I always like to summarize with some goals for 2024. So highlighting some of these as a framework kind of for the year that we're into now. Completing the Centennial Park Golf Buildings project. Number 1 on that list, determine the fate of the current Centennial Park Clubhouse and what to do with that footprint in that area next. Adopting the Parks and Recreation 5-year master plan with approval from the Indiana DNR in this next year. Filling that vacant maintainer 2 position I mentioned for our maintenance side of things, replacing playgrounds at Briar Creek and Cobblestone Park. Those are both due. Beginning initial development out at Community Estates Park. Replacing the landfill generator with potential for IRA tax credits. Continuing the social center improvements with tuck pointing and replacing the windows and 2 remaining doors that facility are still on the to-do list. Replacing batting cage nets, all 8 of them at Community Park for all the baseball and softball. So with that, can answer any questions, but I would ask if you don't have any, that, you consider a motion to approve this as our 2023 year in review annual report.
Thank you. Anybody have questions?
I'll motion to approve.
Second. Motion and seconded to approve the annual report. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And those opposed, say no. Ayes have it. Next item is the utility vehicle and Z-Track mower purchase.
This is something where we're seeking to replace out, through our maintenance division, a utility vehicle out at Centennial Park and a Z-Track mower through Kevin's Cruise. This is something that was budgeted for in the 2023 GO bonds, collectively budgeted for $33,500. We sought proposals from Sourcewell, which is the cooperative purchasing program, which already meets that competitive bidding requirements, and the prices that we have from them, also taking into account a trade-in allowance of $19,000 is $25,376.04. So the staff is recommending the acceptance of the proposal from Deere and Company, which would be delivered locally from Custonia Tractor out of Crown Point for the purchases of these pieces of equipment for a total of $25,376.04.
Any questions? No questions.
I will motion to approve the proposal as presented.
I'll second it.
Been moved and seconded to approve the purchase of the Z-Track and the Gator. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, ayes have it. Next is purchase of trucks.
This is similar. We have 3 trucks that we're seeking to purchase, 3 3/4-ton trucks. 2 are replacements that include trade-in allowances. 1 is a new truck without a trade-in. These prices were sought out by the town mechanic and would be funded from the 2023 GO bond, where we budgeted $205,000 total for all 3 trucks. Collectively, the recommendation that we bring to you is to purchase 2 from Paul Herring Ford and the 3rd one from Bozak Ford. And collectively, this would be, well, I actually have them spelled out there. Collectively, it would be a total of $155,682, which is within what we had budgeted from the GO bond. And we bring that to you with a recommendation for approval.
Questions? I've got one. Vehicle 142 seemed like it had low miles.
A lot of our trucks had low miles.
So is there a value that would Public Works may have it, or not saying the school city, but I mean, like just to get rid of a truck for 130 and the trade-in value is 28,000 or whatever, it's like,
Right, right.
I mean, well, just my thought. I don't know if that's something that, I mean, I don't know what Public Works numbers have on it. I mean, they're still pursuing or going around the same town. So I just saw that, I was like, wow, 30,000. I mean,
Yeah,
Not a
they,
bad-
I
it's not a
think a
bad
lot of
car.
our trucks, I mean, even like the red Jeep, when we traded it in a couple years ago, I don't think we had 30,000 miles on that because a lot of the driving is just local in town. But I get what the point is, you know, can we either delay the purchase of it or
take one of Public Works thing that has 60,000 miles and turn it, yes, you lose the trade-in, but I mean, we're all in town, so.
They're pretty aggressive though, I mean, with their replacement, because the town's mechanic really handles the trucks, from that perspective, so they look at collectively, and that's who sought these bids, was from the town mechanic, so I think that he's aware of it, if we would have held on to this one, and they got rid of one of their others. So I mean, that's the perspective that I look at it from that.
So he's the mechanic for all.
He's mechanic for all, correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's the only question. Is there a motion to approve the purchase of these 3 vehicles? We're not buying them. It's just what's gonna happen. By the way, do they help out with the snow plowing when it like snows like crazy? I mean, besides, I get it, like, Wyatt says it's Frank Hammond. I get it that you do the track and that's cool, but if you can't make it to the track,
Yeah.
it's not really worthwhile to get to the track, so.
Well, and we will, but we also don't want to fall behind with what our responsibility, so we do kind of concentrate on our stuff with our parking lots that we have within the parks and the tracks.
But if they called on you, you
If
wouldn't
they
say
call
no.
though, we do help, and some of our staff will call out, if they're out overnight, they will work the overtime, and that gets absorbed by the public works.
Yeah.
So that they do help from time to time, but they will usually in that instance be in our park trucks.
Gotta make sure people get to school and get to
Yeah,
exercise.
yeah.
We're still looking to buy these vehicles. Oh, that's right, I cannot joke either. New Year's resolution. Anyone want to buy 3 trucks or should I
I
move
will
on?
motion to approve the purchase of the vehicles as described.
I'll second. The moved and seconded to purchase the vehicles as described in the memo under D, this thing. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, ayes have it. Next item is the triplex mower for the golf course.
This is,
But this all.
another item that was on the repair and replacement schedule, something else that we included in the 2023 GO bond. We budgeted at $47,500. Dan Ogdill, the golf course superintendent, received 3 quotes for these. And the golf industry, for whatever reason, is really difficult falling behind with getting replacements. Fortunately, the 2 higher proposals, the answer is that you don't even know when you would be getting them. And they're starting to write their quotes that it's the price when it's delivered, which I'm not sure how that even works for us to be able to purchase something like that. Fortunately, this one from Revels that he is recommending is something that's actually readily available. So that's something that, and it fits the needs based upon his review. They were all very similar machines and it does kind of match with what we existing have. We have a lot of John Deere equipment out there. And the recommendation would be to purchase that, the precision cut triplex mower from Rebels Turf and Tractor at a price of $37,420.12.
And this is to replace the 2008.
This is replacing a 2008 John Deere, another triplex mower, correct?
I will motion to approve the purchase of the 2024 John Deere 2400 precision cut triplex mower.
I'll second it.
Moved and seconded to approve the purchase of the triplex mower. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That's it. Well, we're achieving some of your goals here with,
Great.
we're buying batting cage nets possibly.
Possibly. So this is a proposal of 12 batting cage nets at Community Park. The netting has been repaired over the last year on a pretty consistent basis. The leagues are all asking for it to be replaced. The maintenance staff's evaluated the nets and agrees that it's time to replace them. We sought quotes from 3 different suppliers. The proposed cost includes supplying the delivery of the nets, vinyl backstop and hardware to hang on. The maintenance staff would install them once we receive them. And are hoping to get these ordered and installed prior to this coming spring season for baseball and softball for the users. So funding for this would be taken from old park bond issue funds that are available for park improvements. And it would be a total cost of $18,828.56. If we purchase them from Batting Cages Inc., which is our recommendation.
Mark, just one question. Does the new nets account for the repair of the chain link in some of the, that's the question that was asked to me. I have not been out there. I'm just going to say
It
that.
does not.
There are apparently some nets that are pulling on the chain link that are.
What happens is a lot of the users take zip ties and zip tie the nets to the chain link. So then the balls, when you're hitting them, the net is meant to catch the ball and not let the ball hit the chain link. The problem is if you zip tie the net to the chain link, when it hits it, it's hitting the net and then hitting the chain link as well. And it is bending them and making
Yeah,
them
and I'm
wet.
told that either the bottom or the top, I couldn't get a clear idea. It's pulling up, is that?
I would have out there.
I haven't been out there in like 2 years now or whatever, but I'm told that the fence is pulling up or down.
The back, so where the batter would be standing,
Yeah.
just like on a lot of backstops, you get that curling going on, which
Uh-huh.
that is happening, and Kevin and his crew, they've been trying to work on that, or even just work with, if it's beyond our potential to re-tie it down and re-strap it down, we may have to look at just replacing sections of the fence. We would do that just as part of our normal regular maintenance out
Okay.
there. We wouldn't bring that to you guys, but that is something that we've talked to a couple of groups about, and that's something that we've been looking at.
And as part of that, you said that some of the groups are zip tying the nets and stuff. Have we
Yeah.
talked to them about maybe?
We've tried, I mean, I've been out there, we've told them on repeated times, if you guys are ever out there, I welcome you to tunnel them too, but there's some that, you know, they swing the bat, it hit the net, so now we gotta get the net out of the way, so they tie the net back to the fence, so now when they swing and miss, the ball hits not only the backdrop that's there, the vinyl backstop, but it's hitting it into the chain link fence, which causes, you push against the fence here, what's the fence down low do? It's gonna curl up, and that's what's happening.
Yeah,
So that we.
I don't think
need
they're
them
making
to
that
learn this more.
connection, is that the curling up is causing, you know,
That's, and of course, then when it curls up, then the balls can get under,
right,
get out. So, yeah.
maybe we want to have a discussion with. the-
Yeah, we're gonna refresh all their minds again. Some of them have literally rolled their eyes in front of us and others, you know, listening, but we try to get down to individual coaches and stuff like that.
They want to roll their eyes.
These are the original nets.
These are the original nets from when they were.
I'll motion to approve the purchase of the new nets from Batting Cages Inc. at a cost of $18,128.56.
I'll second it.
So moved and seconded to achieve one of the first goals of Mark's, master plan here. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, ayes have it. Next item is social center windows and door replacement.
I mentioned about, continuing to make social center improvements, over the years, we've done a lot out there, electrical wiring, adding a backup generator, replaced the east and west main doors already, we ran fiber optics to the building, purchased new tables and chairs for inside, new picnic tables for the patio outside, and we've recognized we need to do the windows and the 2 remaining single doors out there. We got quotes from 3 different suppliers, and, all of them would include supply and installation. And this would be, also be funded from old park bond issue, funds that are available for park improvements. And we're recommending awarding this to Munster Glass at a cost of $23,282.
Any questions?
I do. It's a pretty big price variance between the 3 of them. Is there any concerns that somebody's missing something? Everything's exactly as quoted for you?
Yeah, we're actually in Munster Glasses, who did our 2 glass doors last year,
Oh,
the 2 that came in, the one that's on the west side of the building and the main door where people walk in, and did a great job with that. So, I mean, we're happy. I think they kind of gave us an in-town discount. So, we're happy with that. Lazaro, I think, is also a union shop. I think whereas Munster Glass is more of a, like 2-3 guys, and that's who does all the work. We are trying to get this lined up, pending your approval. We probably won't do this till about Labor Day, just to make it at a time of year when the social center has kind of a dip in rentals, just as with school starting, there's usually not as much rentals.
We're just gonna look at each other for a little while. Don't mind us. Side.
That's hard to get.
All right, Avery. I'll motion to,
I was sweating it out a little while.
I'll motion to approve to award the, Munster Glass.
I'll second it.
The motion is seconded to award to Munster Glass for the amount of $23,282 for the social center door replacements. All those in favor say aye. And those opposed say no. Ayes have it. Pro shop and cart building construction.
So
It's cold outside.
it's cold, meetings are continuing, submittals continue, vapor barrier was installed and completed. The setting of the concrete floor slabs were completed, the floor that is ready, the concrete slab will get a top concrete pour on top of it. They're ready to do that, but they gotta have it above freezing to do that. They've had blankets out there, they're hoping next week they get a chance as temperatures climb back up. Stubbing of electrical and plumbing through that foundation floor had continued. However, as you hinted at, the cold weather has put a stop on a lot of the on-site progress. They continue to do some ordering of items and other things off-site for, the project, but the delays will likely have a ripple effect, in the next year or so. We probably will be pushing back our completion into August or September. It just depends on how long winter lasts. So. But once that top coating, next pour happens, after that, they start erecting, metals.
So next week it'll be in the forties, so we're good.
Yep. So free construction update project.
Cool. All right, well, that's it.
Move to adjourn.
Can I
Oh,
interrupt?
one more.
I just want to make sure and remind you on the very bottom of our agenda.
Don't worry, Jill's son doesn't have to eat anything. He's just sitting back there. We can already see he's hungry. I get it.
No, I'm with them. February 13th, our work session about the master plan, and then a week later is the next park board meeting, so both at 5 o'clock here, so just wanted to remind
We
you.
have another, something in January, right?
There's a public input meeting coming up on the 23rd of January, that's open to the public, if you're able to make it, great, but if not,
Yeah.
HWC, there's one at noon and one at 5 PM the same day, it's basically 2 different times to allow the public the opportunity to come to one or either one of them, so. If you can make one or both, hey, great, but, yeah.
What are the
I have
times
it. The noon and 5. And that's also in the same.
And then maybe in the next meeting or two, can you put, I know you put replace playgrounds at Briar Creek House and Park. Can we get an updated repair and replacement schedule? Whenever you have.
Yep, I will add that to my list, yep.
Thank you.
I will also just mention that in, beginning next month, our new town council liaison has asked for a report spot on the agenda, so I will add that to. So you're aware.
What was that again?
And that will be Councilman Nolan's.
Gotcha. Okay, we have a motion to adjourn.
Please.
Second, but we're seconded the motion. No one's gonna disagree with it. All in favor, say aye, and we are done.
Go back out in the cold time.